Back in the 1990s, a girl decided to take her own life after viewing an image posted in a news group. The image was a figure, which is some identified as a woman, standing in the middle of a lonely road. The figure is transparent to the point where its legs are barely visible and is illuminated by an unknown light. The source coming from the direction of the camera, whether it's headlights, a handheld flashlight, or the light of the camera itself, it's known for sure, as the actual source of the image was never been identified. No facial features could be made out, but the figure is most likely identified by its long bony appendages, which partly resembles of the spider's legs. Those who have seen the image or know its existence have come to know the figure as the Wanderer. The first known Wanderer account occurred in 1996. Jane, a college girl who was visiting her family during the holiday season, had an interest of the paranormal. She had a Wanderer image on the news group, along with the message reading, "Do you see me? I can see you too." Dozens of other users saw the same post. Most didn't think much of it, just as somehow funny. Some actually complained that they experienced headaches while they looked at the image. And similar claims have been made by others since. According to Jane's family, she suffered from nightmares of the nights after seeing that image. She claimed that she would wake up and see the Wanderer outside of her window. Sometimes it would even scrape the glass with its spider-like limbs, but usually it would just stand there and stare at her. She would find herself unable to move while it's in its presence, as if her unseen hands were holding her down. Even if she closed her eyes, she would still see it. Her family was sure that she had just been frightened by an image online and was having nightmares as a result, until Jane complained of seeing the Wanderer in her walking life as well. She was convinced that it was following her. She would even see it while she's in a room full of people, out or in public. Even though no one else saw anything, Jane's family feared for her sanity, but only assured her that the Wanderer wasn't real. Jane, however, only got worse. She began to going through extreme lengths to stay awake at night, and it started out with just the caffeine and staying active, but it quickly graduated into hurting herself and screaming throughout the night. Before long, she wasn't sleeping at all. She was convinced that if she slept again, the Wanderer would take her. Her family knew that they just couldn't wait and hope for the best. Jane needed help. But when Jane's mother knocked on her daughter's bedroom door, she received no answer. She carefully opened the door, not wanting to disturb or startle Jane, but she still heard nothing. Jane wasn't in her bed. She wasn't sitting at her computer. She didn't appear to be in her room at all until her mom checked the closet. There, Jane was found curled up in a corner. Blood reddened the front of her body, having drained from its long slit across her throat. She was clutching a blood-stained note which read, "It can't have me now." Jane's case has not isolated, though the rest of the 90s, dozens of others went missing or taken their own life after viewing that image of the Wanderer. Since the turn of the century, despite my best efforts at locating the image, it seemed to have disappeared. Recently, though, I posted on a news group asking if anyone's heard of the Wanderer. I have done this many times, and usually there's one or two people who have heard of the story, but no one has seen the image. By this time was different. Shortly after posting, I received an email from my box. The subject in the mail was, "I can see you." It body read, "Do you see me? I can see you too." There was an image attached to the message. I can't verify whether it's a real Wanderer image or not, but I must warn you that if you choose to view the image, you do so on your own risk. And that, my little pretties, was The Wanderer, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story? I actually am going to be honest, I never actually heard of this story. Like, I've never heard of this story before. So that I'm definitely gonna say right now, I have never actually heard of this story until I've came across a narration that Dave the Useless did about 7 years ago, along with Winko 567, as well as a few people. I believe Mr. Creepypasta also did this one, as well as Creepypasta. But I'm gonna be saying that right now, I have never heard of this story. And I decided, while I was on the wiki and I heard about this story, well, never heard of it, I took a look at it, and the story itself was honestly pretty good for what it is. Now, I'm gonna definitely say right now, it is pretty messed up with, the teenage daughter, college student daughter, going through, seeing an image online, and she felt that she needed to take her own life to protect herself or something. I mean, she's seen something that people don't see, and this honestly is one of the most freakiest stories I've ever seen. Like, I actually thought this story was really well done, as well as the good grammar. The concept of it was well done as well. I definitely would have to say the author who put his or her time and effort into the story really do know how to make a good story. So that I definitely would have to say it's a very good story for how this really was. Now, I'm going to definitely say right now I have never heard of this I've never heard of this story until just recently when I started, reading this one. Now, I definitely have to say it's a good story for what this story really is. It does have a really good concept. It does really play a really good pretty good part in the story. But I would have to say right now that I actually never actually heard of this story until just recently. So, I would have to say, despite the I know I'm repeating myself, but despite the fact that I've never heard of this story, I actually found this one to be quite good. Now, I cannot see, who the original author of this story is, so yeah, I'm going to leave it as anonymous for now. If I ever find out who the original author of this story is, I'll be sure to give him or her proper credit. As of now, I can't figure out who the author of this story is. So, until then, I'm gonna definitely say right now that, if the author manages to find this story, they are free to, comment in the comments below. Let me know that they are the ones who wrote the story, and I'll definitely give them proper credit. Anyways, I guess that being said, this is just my own opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas. This is just my personal thoughts. My final rating of this story is I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. It's honestly a really well made story. I definitely do like the fact that this story, well, it's a short story, yes, but I definitely would have to say it is really messed up in a matter of ways, but this story honestly is a pretty good classic. So I cannot complain. It's a good story. And I definitely recommend you guys check out this story if you haven't. It's on the regular Creepypasta Wiki. So, anyways, with that being said, what did you guys think about this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me now with your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you're new to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video, and roll the outro because I'm out.